You're listening to the Lowdown Show, The Next. Mamma Mia! Your NXT review and discussion show.
We are NXT!
Right here on the No Holds Barred Network.
Alright guys, how are you doing? It is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the Lowdown Show, The Next, spelled NXT cleverly. It is your NXT review and discussion show right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all things WWE, NXT, and the UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every single Wednesday night on speaker, starting with this week. Download the free app on all Android and Apple devices. We're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. Now, for all network updates, please follow us on Twitter at NHB Network on Twitter, as well as follow the show on Twitter at The Lowdown Show. I'm your host, Hollywood Michael Chow, and I am flying solo today. So, sorry guys, doing a solo podcast. Unfortunately, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, had to attend to his self-proclaimed work. But hey, you know, we all have jobs. I worked a 8-hour full-time job, and I'm tired, but I would love it someday to be able to quit my job and do this full-time. Hey, maybe I can get a call from Vince. Maybe I can get the old good Sam Roberts pre-show deal. But until then, guys, the show must go on. And we gotta talk about NXT because, man, oh man, was it a great show this week. I mean, think what you want about the show overall, but you know what? The main event was something to see. Now, guys, you're going to have to excuse me. Once again, it is not easy to do a solo podcast. Anyone who's ever done it before. I used to have my own podcast where I used to host it by myself. It was horrible starting off at first. I was saying and I was blanking out all over the place. And for any of you out there thinking about starting your own podcast or YouTube channel, it takes work. It really does. So if you're listening to yourself or watching yourself on YouTube and you're thinking, man, this is not working out, you'll get into the groove. Hey, you know what? Everyone started off bad. Michael Cole started off bad, all right? JBL started off bad, and he's still bad on commentary. So, hey, sometimes things don't change. So, guys, you'll have to excuse me. It's been a while. I have notes. If you guys could see the video for this, I have notes all over my desk because, I mean, unfortunately, Kyle, he had to bail out very last minute, and he had to pass along his notes. And it's just all over the place. But I'm going to try and do my best. And please be patient. But we already got some people in the live chat right now. The first ladies of our Lowdown Show, it's Datila and Tiffany. Datila says hi. Tiffany says, just in time for the finest wrestling podcast. Oh, man. If you guys aren't getting the references, get out of here. Tiffany also says, I'm still bad at podcasting. You know, for big shout out right now. And I promise I'll get to NXT in a bit. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time and you're like, get to the wrestling, come on. I promise I'll get to it in a bit. We got a lot to talk about. So even though this, the beginning of the show is kind of going a little bit long, I guarantee you what we got left for the rest of the show is all good stuff. But Tiffany, who just gave a classic woo in the podcast live chat. And for those of you who don't know how to get into the live chat, all you gotta do is sign up for a free membership on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. It's free, and all you gotta do is sign up, and it is free. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just surprised how cool and free it is. And if you sign up for free, you also get to use their program to start your own podcast. I mean, and it's free. I mean, you get a limited time limit, but if you're thinking about what it's like to just do your own podcast, sign up for free membership, and you can chat with me live on the show. So, Tiffany in the chat, she actually has her own show. It's called Dadass Podcast, one of the best names I've ever heard of, and she's been doing it for a while now. I mean, Tiffany in the chat, let me know how long you've been doing your show for. It's great. You talk about relationships. They sometimes talk about WWE. I know that Tiffany has a huge crush on Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and whatnot. So there you go. And look who decided to show up. The anonymous podcaster, the anonymous GM of this podcast, Kyle Masters is here. What up? Here to show some love while working the corporate job. Have a good show, Michael, and have fun with the rest of the show. So I'll see what I can do here. But anyway, here, thanks to my co-host, who, by the way, his profile picture is a big giant X. I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to ask him later. But let's go ahead and carry on with the show. You guys here for an NXT review, and that's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what I proclaim is the A show. It's only 1 hour entertainment, but it's the best kind. Let's go ahead and get into the review for this week's episode of NXT. Alright, here we go. This week's NXT comes to you live. I don't know about live. It comes to you pre-tape from Full Sail University. It is the episode for September 19th, 2018. We are on the long road to NXT TakeOver for Survivor Series. I think, where are they this year? I think they're in LA. I think they are. One of the live listeners right now, Datila, I think she knows. Is NXT TakeOver Survivor Series in LA this year? I think they are. I know they are. But anyway, this week's episode of NXT was quite good. The main event was something to talk about, but we'll get into that later. Let's go ahead. Every show has a beginning, and we start things off with a women's tag team match. The conflict started off last week. Me and Kyle talked about it. It was a pretty bad segment. It was a backstage segment between the first lady of NXT, whatever that means, Lacey Evans, and the NXT Hall of Famer, Aaliyah, because, man, she's been in NXT for so long. She hasn't been called up. But they get into it with Dakota Kai and Deonna Purrazzo. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing her name wrong. And so that's why it leads to a match this week. And that's what's good about NXT. Things lead to other things. You don't randomly see them in a match like some other shows we see with the WWE. But we get this match. It was a long match, by the way. Very long. I think I counted it out at 13 minutes. It was good. It was good enough to show what they had, all four of them. And the winners come out in this match with the women's rights off a blind tag to Dakota Kai. And 1, 2, 3, Lacey Evans and Aaliyah pick up the win. So it looks like they have a lot of faith in Lacey Evans. She's a good wrestler. Lacey Evans. She has everything that Vince is looking for. I mean, she's very good looking, okay? She's got the look, she's got the height, she's got the wrestling ability. For someone who did not have any previous experience in wrestling before NXT, she's doing very, very well. And it looks like, people who don't have experience before professional wrestling tend to do very, very well. I mean, Bianca Belair had no previous wrestling experience, and she's doing very, very well. She's like one of the best wrestling competitors, female competitors, that's rising to the top faster than I've ever seen. Kurt Angle had no previous professional wrestling experience, and now look at him. He's like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And yeah, I think Lacey Evans has what it takes, but they really need to think of something for her. They really do. I think the last big thing that she did is that she is one of the very few people who actually have a win over Mae Young Classic winner Kairi Sane. So she actually beat Kairi Sane, and then nothing really happened after that. They really, really need to, it's kind of a roller coaster, but they really need to pick a time for Lacey Evans to come in and then think for something for her to do. Now, if former NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler is moving on to the main roster, which I personally think she is, they're obviously going to need someone to fill these voids in there. And I think Lacey Evans has whatever it takes, but they have to book her good. And with Triple H, I'm very sure that they will do that. So let me go to the live chat real fast before we go on here. Yes, see here. Datila says, yesterday we are getting NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So I assume that they are getting TakeOver and Survivor Series. And I don't know if Datila got her ticket. I know one of our other co-hosts on our other show, Brian, the main event Maharaja. Big shout out to him where credit is due. I think he said he also bought tickets to both Survivor Series and NXT. So for a guy who always rags about the indie scenes in NXT, he's still going to get a ticket to NXT TakeOver, which I'm sure he will have fun on that day and try to take an excuse on how it was not so good in the main roster. Good luck with that. Survivor Series. Yikes. Oh, man. Champion versus champion. It's probably going to be Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns. You know, there you go. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our next thing on NXT. We have Velveteen Dream in a backstage interview. So he gets these interviews where people were recording cameras and you could tell that they kind of just, you know, that's the thing about NXT. They work with what they have. And what they do, they just get randos in the background, say, here, hold this tape recorder here. You know, sometimes I see them holding iPhones as recorders, but it does what is needed. They're always recording at full sale. They save money. I'm pretty sure they're paying full sale to use their arena. So we get a backstage interview with Velveteen Dream, asking him, you know, where does he go next? He's basically talking about how, you know, he beat EC3. He's talking about how he beat Johnny Gargano, Mr. No Wrestling or whatever thing that he was calling him. And then they asked him a question about Aleister Black, because it's the main storyline. One of the biggest and most interesting storylines going on in wrestling right now. The Who attacked Aleister Black, a.k.a. NXT's version of Who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he did something. Now, I want to point out, and there are a select number of people who are technically doing this. When asked if he had anything to do with Aleister Black's attack, he never said yes. He never said no. He basically waved off the interview. He said, wait a minute, this whole interview was supposed to be about Velveteen Dream, and now you're talking about Aleister Black? And he basically said, I'm done with you, and he walks away. But he never said yes, or he never denied that he didn't do it. Now, in my personal opinion, hey, don't get me wrong, Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black was match of the year last year. But this whole thing on Who attacked Aleister Black, it should be a storyline with a significant, huge push for someone who needs it. I mean, at first I thought Cassius Ohno needed it because it looks like he was going to turn heel. And whether you like Cassius Ohno or you don't, there's a storyline that this guy really, really needed. The last thing that we don't need is for someone who's already an established main eventer to get revealed as the person who attacked him. And this person's already in the main event, like push, and you really didn't need to give it to this person. I mean, Kyle says he thinks it's Tommaso Ciampa, which it possibly could be. Sometimes the most obvious choice is the right choice. And I personally think it's Johnny Gargano. And they hinted at that later on. We're going to speak about that later. And yes, Johnny Gargano's already in the main event scene, but my reason is I said this would be a good way for Johnny Gargano to get out of his feud with Tommaso Ciampa, and it would be a good way to turn Johnny Gargano heel, is to basically say he's the one who attacked Aleister Black because Aleister Black got involved in this feud with Tommaso Ciampa, and, you know, all of the seats are there. But it should be someone who needs it, really. You know, someone like EC3 to get back into the main event scene. I don't care if they give it to the finest Kona Reeves, okay? It's something for him to do. If it is revealed to be Kona Reeves, they got a lot of work to do on why the heck it might be him. If he comes out here and says he did it for The Rock and he did it for the people, beautiful. That's all we need to know. Repeat creative. Okay, after that, we go on to another segment. It says Street Profits, you know, having one of their scenes or segments they always do. They play the little Snapchat symbol, and they have them out on the streets. You know, it's basically a repeat of the Crime Time when they used to go around and doing rando stuff. And all they did was ask about how TM62, which is my nickname for the Mighty, because I hate the name the Mighty, what are they going to do about them? And they said, yeah, that they were going to get them back. Did we need this segment? No, but it got the Street Profits on TV, and it connects the storyline. It wouldn't surprise me if we get the Street Profits versus TM62 next week, a.k.a. The Mighty. Yikes. And here we go. We got Tiffany and Kona Reeves' biggest fan, Kyle Masters and Tiffany, showing their support. Is it because Kona Reeves sounds like Kona Coffee? Oh, these two right here, who likes coffee? Anyways. Let's see here. What else? Oh, Tiffany says that she needs to buy 2K19. Yeah, a huge roster review for 2K19. We're going to get more about that in the segment of Total News, but they released a huge DLC involving a shitload of NXT superstars, and I was not sure I was going to buy the game. I'll talk about this later, but man, oh man, when you hear the names that they got in DLC, they knew exactly what they were doing. Good job. Okay, next we get into a match with the Forgotten Sons, Jackson Riker. What a name. I don't know much about this guy, but someone online did tell me that in TNA, this guy was known as Gunner. I don't watch Impact Wrestling. I tried watching it. I couldn't get addicted to... Well, first of all, I hated the 6-sided ring. I don't know, it was weird. And then when they went to the 4-sided ring, I started watching again, but their storylines could not keep me there. I mean, they got a lot of former WWE talent there, and they just could not keep me in to watch Impact Wrestling. But Jackson Riker, a.k.a. Gunner in Impact Wrestling, representing the Forgotten Son, is going to take on the enhancement talent of Humberto Carrillo. Come on down. Jackson Riker. Man, this guy is big. This guy, if he wants to go into a solo career, he can definitely do it. This guy, honestly, if you put your thumb over this guy's face, you could swear it was Batista. Because not only does he have some of the same tattoos on his arm, on his chest, and on his back, this guy looks just like the physical physique of Batista. And if you didn't believe me, get the way he finishes off the enhancement talent, Humberto. He finishes him off with a powerbomb slingshot from the ropes. It was pretty vicious. It's a move that I think might injure someone someday, but if you need any more proof this guy's the next Batista, the powerbomb will do it. So Jackson Riker in solo action tonight, representing the Forgotten Sons. Blake and Steve Cutler were not at ringside, so I don't know. They do film a lot of NXT episodes together, so I do not know where the rest of the Forgotten Sons were. But this was an enhancement talent. Did they need the rest of the Forgotten Sons there? No, they didn't. So next, we move into another segment. We got Candice LeRae. She is now in the hot seat. Sexy Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae is what Seth Rollins is to my girl, Tiffany. She is Johnny Gargano, you lucky son of a bitch. But anyways, Candice LeRae, she is the one getting grilled in the hot seat, which is very ironic because Kairi Sane said she cleared Kashi Ono. And Kairi Sane was sitting with Candice LeRae, so why did they need to sit with Candice LeRae? I mean, last week, if you guys watched it, Kashi Ono went to William Regal's office, and William Regal basically waved him off. He said, you know what, I don't need to talk to you, because Kairi Sane said that you didn't do it, and that's all I need to know. And he goes, whoa, what, you don't think I could have done it? Let me tell you something, I could have done it. But that's a story for another day. I like what they're doing with Kashi Ono. I just think it's odd. And that actually brings us into our next point. They would not have put Candice LeRae in this segment, which contradicts the whole Kairi. It doesn't contradict, but there's no logic in Kairi Sane clearing Kashi Ono and them not needing to see him. But there is a reason why Candice LeRae is probably here. So they're talking to William Regal. They get her account of what happened. She said, oh, she was there. She was sitting with Kashi Ono. She was sitting with Kairi Sane. And she actually brought it up. She goes, well, Kairi Sane cleared us. Why am I even here? That's when William Regal gets down to business. He says, you know what? The reason why you're here is that your husband, Johnny Gargano, he kind of get into things with Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa, and do you know the whereabouts of your husband when Mr. Burns got shot? Now, that's a complete mistake. That is another storyline, but you guys know what I'm getting at here. So Candice LeRae goes, well, she was with her husband, and then he said that he had to go off and do something and he'll meet her later, and then he met her later. So this does not make Johnny Gargano look good at all. And, I had put it out there that I believe Johnny Gargano's the guy who did it. Like I said, I think it's a good heel turn storyline for him, and it makes sense Aleister Black just so happened to get involved in his feud with Tommaso Ciampa, so he had no choice but to take him out. And there you go. Basically, them grilling Candice LeRae on her husband, and they would not have done that. And the good thing about this storyline is they're basically saying anyone could have possibly have done it. Now, Velveteen Dream, he could have just straight up said, I didn't do it. No, but they let you guessing. Lars Sullivan, he never technically said he didn't do it, but he did said if he did it, he would have done it and finished the job, or he would have done it. He basically said, well, I was gonna do it, but by the time I got there, he was already laid out. So I went to go lay out EC3, which Lars Sullivan was never punished for. So I like this whole storyline. Anyone could have done it, including Maggie from The Simpsons. Why not? She's on a freaking killing spree. So, all right, Kyle Master says, all right, back to work. Have a good rest of the show, Michael. Too sweet. So very good. Thank you, Kyle, for stopping on by. All right, next we get into the main event of NXT, and man, oh man, was it a main event.
And only.
All right, we got out here the North American champion, and I gotta tell you, this was a match for the freaking ages. We got Ricochet out here. It is a first-time ever champions versus champions match. Both titles are on the line. North American Championship is on the line, and it's going to be against this man. All right, we go from North America and we go all the way over to the UK. That's because the UK title's on the line. Pete Dunne, the longest reigning champion right now in WWE. That's right. He's even a longer champion than Brock, who gives a fuck, Lesnar. Guys, see what I did there with the rhymes? You guys get it. So anyway, we get Pete Dunne. It's a double championship match. I think we all know what's going to happen, but we'll see. So anyway, Tiffany says, I'm surprised they gave this match on a weekly show. This match would have been great for a takeover match. And I gotta tell you, let's cut to the chase. This match had everything. It was a little bit slow at the beginning, a lot of technical moves, but it picked up when it needed to pick up. It had everything. Aerial assaults, cruiserweight moves, all right? Power moves. These guys are like picking up people, power bombing them all over the place. My gosh, the strength on Ricochet, unbelievable. These two are magic in the ring. Rematch, #fight forever. This match had everything. If you didn't watch it, go and watch it. Go watch it again. And when you think you haven't watched it enough after watching Raw or SmackDown, then watch this match again to clear your thoughts of the whack shows you just watched. But this match was absolutely incredible. A long match. Bear in mind, there were only two other matches tonight. The women's tag team match at the beginning, and Jackson Riker taking out the enhancement talent. This match went for a long time, I think close to 20 minutes. And this had a lot of kick-out pinfall manias. Just when you thought this person was down, this person was down. What's so great about this match is you had no idea what was going to happen. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and we're going to talk about that in a bit on what actually happened at the end. But I was watching this match, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe Ricochet might win, on TV taping. By the way, if Tommaso Ciampa can win the NXT Championship on a TV taping, then why not one of these guys? At one point I thought Ricochet might pull this off, and then at one point I thought maybe Pete Dunne might pull this off. They might have a lot of faith in him. This guy has all the great tools to be a great champion, and then this was great. I didn't know when it was going to end, and right when you thought it was going to end,
The system.
No pinfall in this house, baby. That's right. Undisputed is on the prowl. They take out both men, causing the DQ. This unfortunately ends in a no contest. Now they're beating both of these guys down, and then out comes War Raiders. War. They chase them off, and that is basically where NXT ends. It basically ends with Pete Dunne and Ricochet standing in the ring, basically staring each other down. Now, when I found out I had to do this podcast solo, I actually went ahead and read the results in advance. And it looks like they actually they either taped something after the show went off the air, or they retaped the ending. Because according to the results I read, which was live coverage from the actual live event, supposedly what had happened was when they chased off Undisputed Era, so this is the part that did not air on TV, when they chased off Undisputed Era by War Raiders, they were actually confronted by none other than Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. And then so Undisputed Era got thrown back into the ring by those two, and they were basically beaten down. Now Adam Cole slips out of the ring. He looks like he's about to exit through another way, and then that's when, believe it or not, the glorious one, not Bobby Roode, but the other glorious one, Keith Lee, appears out of nowhere and throws Adam Cole back into the ring. So now, obviously, this did not all happen, so this might have been something just for the fans to enjoy. Or maybe not. Maybe they might show something next week on NXT. But other than that, guys, that was the show. What a main event. Tiffany says, Adam Cole, baby. And I'm recording this all the way from the Bay Area, so you know Bay Area is Adam Cole town, even though he's not from here. So anyway, that was the main event. It was, honestly, this might be match of the year over on NXT, Raw, SmackDown, or 205 Live. I'm serious. If you guys did not watch it, just tune in for the last 20 minutes for this match. It was an absolute incredible match. Now, I know my co-host Kyle, he did not watch it yet because he's at work. But Kyle, when you get home, watch this match. This match had everything. In fact, next week on the show, we'll actually discuss this match again because it was that damn good. Thank you, Triple H. So other than that will go ahead and do it for the NXT review. Good show. I'm going to give it a rating system. We didn't do it last week or the week before that, but hey, I'm taking over this show, so I'm actually going to give it a rating system. So without further ado, I'm going to give a rating system from 1 to 5 with an optional 0 if a show is that bad, which I doubt. But let's go ahead. My rating out of 5, 1 to 5, optional 0. I give NXT for this week A with the main event of Ricochet versus Pete Dunne, double championship match. I give it a 4 out of 5. Whew, thank you, Mauro Ronaldo. Yeah, there we go. It's the two matches at the beginning, and there were only 3 matches, but the women's match was okay. The enhancement talent match with Jackson Riker was okay, but this main event basically, it put it over. I mean, because of the other 2 matches were really just okay, I couldn't give it a 5 out of 5, but this main event really took it all the way up to the limits. All right, guys, so we got some more segments on this show. We're going to go ahead and move into our next segments. They're brand new segments that debuted last week. It's our first segment. It's called What's Next? Next spelled cleverly by NXT. Is where me and Kyle talk about predictions of any type of predictions we think might be coming up, either based on today's episode or stuff that we may have seen in previous episodes. So I actually only see one. So I gave a huge prediction last week. So guys, if you didn't check out last week's episode, go check it out. It involves War Games, and it's my prediction on where I believe Pete Dunne, Ricochet, Adam Cole, all where they're going for NXT TakeOver for Survivor Series. So War Games. So if you guys want to know what I think, and it's a pretty good prediction, go ahead and check last week's episode. So this was kind of a small prediction, but based off what I heard tonight in the match with Jackson Riker, I have a prediction that I believe that Lacey Evans is going to join forces with the Forgotten Sons. Now, for those of you who are NXT fanatics, you'll know that they've actually been doing this in live events. I don't know if they've been doing it lately, but Lacey Evans has been teaming up with the Forgotten Sons. She's even been their manager on a couple of live house shows. The reason why I say so is because Lacey Evans is a former Marine in real life, and Jackson Riker, they actually promoted the fact that he is formerly a serviceman in the military. So it just kind of makes sense that, you know, that they got this whole former army vibe. If you saw the Forgotten Sons vintage from last week, it kind of looks they were going for that whole America, they've forgotten who we were and what we did for this country type stuff. And it would give something for Lacey Evans to do, because she's kind of been roller coasting. She's up, she's down, and they're not putting her in the women's title scene. So if not, you could at least put her with the Forgotten Sons. You know, it would be a very good stable. I don't think, do we have any other stable that involves a female? No, I don't think so. So Sanity, they've moved up to the main roster. So Nikki Cross, she's on her own. So we could use another stable with a female. We no longer have Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega. So we need a team with a female in it. And, here we go. We got Cuban Girl 125. Hey, y'all. Sorry I was late. I got an upgrade. Goodbye, Sims 3. Hello, Sims 4. Sims. I played it when I was a kid. It was a good game. I haven't played it lately. How is it? Cuban Girl 125, let me know how it is. And Cuban Girl 125, let me know if you're getting WWE 2K19. And we're going to be talking about that later on in Total News. But Cuban Girl 125, thank you for stopping by. So that was my segment or my prediction for what's next. I believe Lacey Evans is going to be joining up with the Forgotten Sons. We get into our next segment. It is Who's Next? Next, once again, spell NXT. Very clever. Thank you very much. It is where me and Kyle, we talk about who we believe is on the verge of who's next of becoming the next big thing in NXT. But we also talk about who is going to be the next jobber, who's not doing so well. And we talk about how they may not amount to anything. And here we go for this week. So let's go ahead and start with the jobber part, who I believe who's next to be the jobber. This is going to sound mean, and I don't like talking about this. Maybe I should just cancel the jobber part because I just feel I don't feel so good about saying that these people may not amount to anything and they haven't been doing so good. But I don't know. I'll talk with Kyle. Maybe get the jobber part out of here. We'll just talk about the MVP part. But my jobber for this week is none other than, Aaliyah. So I saw her in her match. It just doesn't look like Aaliyah has not done a lot in NXT, and I call her a Hall of Famer because she's been in NXT for a very, very long time. She does not get any title matches. Her wrestling ability is average. She is not good on the mic. Don't get me wrong. She's very, very attractive. She reminds me of a Kardashian, if you ask me. Maybe that's a gimmick she could do. Maybe she could do like a Leah Kardashian gimmick, maybe. One of the best physiques in NXT. Wow, hello. Aaliyah, other than the fact that she's super hot, she's one of those rare people that I would say probably like Cassius Ohno. I don't see her ever getting called up to the main roster because if she does, what is there for her to do? I mean, where I have people like Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox who do nothing on the main roster. So bringing Aaliyah up, what can you do with Aaliyah? Maybe she could use a gimmick change. I mean, I thought the whole Kardashian thing might be ridiculous, but they got other ridiculous things going on in NXT. So, so Aaliyah, unfortunately, makes my jobber of the week. MVP of the week. Who's next to be MVP? This should be no surprise at all. This week's MVP goes to none other than, and it's a tie, to Pete Dunne and Ricochet for that main event. This main event was so incredible. It proved that Ricochet and Pete Dunne can compete on a main event level. Now, Vince McMahon, he is the type of guy on the main roster who only likes kind of promoting people who have the right look and promoting those big guys. It's always a rare type of thing, but it does happen when a small guy gets through. Look at AJ Styles. Look at Seth Rollins. These guys are actually pretty small guys. They're under the weight of 220. They're kind of small guys, but they do sometimes make it up to the main event. Does Ricochet and Pete Dunne have what it takes to get up there? I'm hoping so. Someone like Neville, who I believe should be in the main event scene, an incredible wrestler, considered a cruiserweight. The whole thing he did with 205 Live as a heel was incredible, one of the best heels on there, but 205 Live is as far as he got, and I'm just saying that here in NXT, where anything is possible and anyone can be champion, not in a negative way, but in a good way, when a cruiserweight like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, these guys, they can be champion. These guys can be in the main event scene, all right? So I'm expecting good things for Ricochet. I'm expecting big things for Pete Dunne. These guys I can see as future NXT champions, and they definitely have what it takes. They got the look, the speed, in-ring ability. They got it. So Ricochet and Pete Dunne making my MVP of Who's Next for this week. So that will go ahead and do it for that segment, guys. And before we get on to our next thing, let me go to the live chat. Cuban Girl 125 says, can't wait for tomorrow. Every YouTuber who went to play the game early at the Performance Center is going to post content from the game, including the women's entrances. Yep, whole bunch of content going out there. Man, I need to start a YouTube channel because I would love to, a lot of people who promote WWE 2K games, they always get invited every single year, either during WrestleMania or to the 2K thing, to basically record a lot of WWE 2K content and to promote the game for them. Because they know that these YouTubers have a whole bunch of subscribers and a lot of people are going to view it. I took a look at the picture. The only person who I did recognize was Luge. If anyone knows who Luge Mania is, she's someone who was on the oh my gosh, I forgot what that show was. I watched season 2 of it. Luge Mania, for anyone who knows, is a huge WWE fanatic. She was on a PlayStation reality show. It was a PlayStation competition show where you could become a video game developer if you won. She was on one of the seasons. I didn't watch that season that she was on, but she was on there, and it was a good season. She's really nice. I see a couple of her reaction videos, and she comments me from time to time. She's a real nice girl, so good job to Luge. And Datila says she's uploading her video, so Datila, she's might be dabbing her feet into getting into YouTube. She has a huge collection of pop culture stuff, so I've told her she should always start her own YouTube channel. And she has a lot of good stuff, so Datila, post some stuff. Everyone should start out somewhere. So guys, before we go on to our next segment, we got ourselves a sponsor, and let me see, where the heck is it? Here we go. Guys, like I said, brace with me as I got a whole bunch of notes on my table. So, No Holds Barred Network is brought to you by, we're going to take a moment here to give a shout out to our network sponsor. It's none other than ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So these guys are wonderful. They specialize in WWE and mixed martial arts apparel with over 10,000 products in stock right now. And from t-shirts to sweaters to muscle shirts, they even, as of right now, have Halloween costumes. So if you want to know how you can become the next Roman Reigns, you could probably just go to a $1 store and buy yourself a police vest and, I don't know, chop off the top of a mop and put it on your head. Yeah. Or if you want to be Vince McMahon, all you got to do is put on a nice shirt and go get a piece of dog poop and put it on your head. But other than that, thank you to ExtremeWrestlingT-shirts.com. You do not want to miss this website, guys. Go over to ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. And if you guys go right now, use the promo code NOHOLDS at checkout. That's NOHOLDS, NOHOLDS at checkout to use that promo code. You will save an extra 10% on your order. That's right. A perfect 10% off your order when using the code NOHOLDS checkout. And that's a little reference to later on when we get into our brand new segment of this week. So guys, go ahead and check it out. The official sponsor of No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So guys, thank you so much to them. And they got a lot of great merch. I was on there last week and it's great designs. And so guys, please check out ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So yeah, so what's our next segment here? Yes, a returning very good segment here. So let's see here. Here in the live chat here, Tiffany says James has the Vince McMahon mask. I remember he posted the video. So Tiffany's co-host from That Ass Podcast, he did go to WrestleMania last year and he went around on Bourbon Street dressed as Vince McMahon. Funny ass video, guys. Please go ahead and check out Dead Ass Podcast on YouTube. They've always been very good to us, so we're going to be good to them. And guys, please promote your local YouTubers, not the ones who have a freaking 50 million subscribers. Please promote and go ahead and view upcoming YouTubers like me. I haven't started my YouTube channel yet, but when I do, I'll let you know. And yeah, guys, thank you. So other than that, guys, we're going to move into our next segment. It is where we discuss a week's full of news related to NXT. This is Total News. Alright guys, yes, that was Simon Dean's theme music. So guys, thank you so much. Welcome to Total News, where we talk about weeks full of news regarding NXT. Total News is my small jab at the term Total Divas. So, let's see here. So I actually have some news from Kyle that he actually messaged me. So I'm just going to read it straight from the message, guys. And we'll discuss it after each one that we talk about. So, So here is the news straight from Kyle Masters, who couldn't make it tonight because he had to go do corporate work. So Kyle posts up live event scouting. So one thing that Kyle will do during Total News is that he will sometimes post the results of live house shows. Because for those of you who don't know, a lot of times what they do at house show kind of predicts upcoming storylines that they might do. Not only in NXT, but stuff they might actually do on the main roster as well. So, scouting live events, here is the results from a recent house show from Kyle himself. He says, Candice LeRae and Shayna Baszler worked the events. Very good. Ricochet and War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. Of course, they're feuding right now on TV. Tony Nese from 205 Live. All right, they've been getting talents from all sorts, 205 Live and the main roster. Tyler Breeze and Luke Harper have actually branched over. Ty Dillinger as well. I think they'll be going to Canada soon, so maybe Ty Dillinger might actually appear on NXT again. So Tony Nese actually beat Kona Reeves at a live event. Yikes. So during the other live events with the main roster, Luke Harper lost to Ricochet and Tyler Breeze lost to Ricochet. But here, an NXT talent actually lost to a non-NXT talent guy. So I don't know. Is this the next storyline for Kona Reeves? Is he no longer the finest? Is he the losiest? Maka Chow joke of the week, guys. So anyway, bad news for Kona Reeves. And Velveteen Dream appears and wrestles at Evolve events. And by the way, Velveteen Dream, it's not here in Kyle's notes, but he has been wrestling Tommaso Ciampa a lot during main events at the live house shows. So is that where Velveteen Dream is going next? Is he going to turn face? I wouldn't mind having heel versus heel. So Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa, the clashing of those two gimmicks would be great. It might actually be the new match of the year. So guys, let me know. Would you like to see Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship? Maybe one of these two are the ones who attack Aleister Black. I don't know. Or maybe just like Big Cass, maybe Aleister Black attacked himself. I don't know. Did Vince dip his hand in the NXT pool? I don't know. Hashtag Fook the finest from Cuban Girl 125. She is like me. We are the hashtag anti-Kona Club. Oh, that's a good one. Hashtag anti-Kona Club. Let's get that trending, Cuban Girl. So anyway, next from Kyle. He says, indie wrestling promotion teases that 2 all-in stars could be heading to NXT. So, could a pair of mass superstars be heading to NXT in the near future? That certainly seems like it is being teased by the independent promotion Major League Wrestling. Here's what the promotion tweeted about all-in stars Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr. Notice the spelling of the word next in the tweet. So this is what the tweet says. Quote, and this is coming from Pentagon Jr. He says, it's been an incredible 2018 for the Lucha Bros, and a monumental moment is on the horizon for Rey Fenix, MX, and Pentagon. Oh my goodness, I can't pronounce that Twitter name. But the Twitter for Pentagon Jr., as we hear what 2019 holds for them, MLW fans may be shocked to see what's next. And that's next spelled NXT. Now, this could mean several things. Maybe they might be going to NXT. Or it could just be them to promote their own business. Listen, once a lot of people get talking, they'll want to be, if you don't watch MLW, that wrestling promotion, you'll want to watch it because you want to see what all the publicity is about. Ooh, what? There might be cross-promoting with NXT. Then I should probably watch their show, their promotion. So it might be a smart marketing campaign by them, or it could mean nothing. Or maybe they are going to NXT. I mean, what is it? Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, everyone's heading to NXT, it seems like. But also, it seems like a lot of people want to leave the main roster. So it seems like people are going into NXT, and the only people who are leaving the WWE are coming from the main roster. Is there a pattern here? I don't know. Next here, there have been rumors for a few months that WWE has been interested in signing Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. One rumor from a few months ago also suggested that both Pentagon and Phoenix told promoters that the dates they have already booked in 2019 are in question. Major League Wrestling could be giving us another hint that they are heading to NXT in 2019. Pentagon addressed the rumors at the recent PCW Ultra event. He let fans know that he isn't going anywhere. He said, and I quote, Respect that I am PCW champion and no one is going to take that from me. Thank you very much. And before I forget, I am not going anywhere. Penta will be in PCW for many more years. You know, he says that, but bear in mind when the Hardy Boys made their return, they were literally at Ring of Honor the night before, and rumor had it that they had signed a they had signed a new contract, and then they were there. And it seemed like they weren't going anywhere. So I don't know. They obviously don't want to blow a huge debut like this. They might be holding off on things. They might be negotiating some stuff. I mean, I hear, we usually only talk about NXT news, but I hear that they finally finalized the deal with Rey Mysterio as of today. So you never know. We might actually see both of these guys in the WWE, maybe at the Royal Rumble. It seems that they need big debuts coming up. I don't know, Survivor Series and whatnot. So you never know. All right, next bit of news coming straight from Kyle. Real fast, Kona Cupid Girl is already on with me as the hashtag anti-Kona Club. And Cupid Girl 125 all says, well, Chelsea Green is on Lucha Underground now. Yes, she is. And someone else got signed recently. Who was it? It was, oh my gosh, I am totally blanking out right now. Someone just signed with Ring of Honor. It was someone who was just in the Mae Young Classic. Oh, Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne, who you may know as from TNA, Madison Rayne, former Knockouts champion, and in the Mae Young Classic as Ashley Rayne, just signed a contract with Ring of Honor. So good for her. She has the look. She should be good in Ring of Honor. So good for her. Keeper Girl 125 says, Jeff told media that him and Matt were going to stay in a Ring of Honor when Mania came. Biggest pop of the night. It was the biggest pop of the night. So Keeper Girl 125, there you go. It's them saying one thing, but you know, it's good to have this big surprise. You don't want them spoiling a whole bunch of stuff. Next bit of news from Kyle Masters. He says, rumor killer on Velveteen Dream being sent to the Indies over backstage heat. So Gabe Sabowski told Twitter to shoot down any rumors of the Velveteen Dream being sent to Evolve shows due to backstage heat over his Vince Call Me Up tights at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. It said that Dream is set to face Austin Theory at Evolve 112 on September 7th, and that and Evolve on September 8th in Queens. They said, and I quote, let's just kill this narrative right now. Dream was requested by us because of his history at MCW Arena in Joppa, Minnesota, I think. He wanted a homecoming, so he was then asked to do Queens to give the fans something special at La Boom. Dream was not sent anywhere, and he was agreed, and he wanted to do it. This is WWE helping the indie wrestling scene. This is WWE Evolve and Velveteen Dream giving fans a unique, memorable, exciting experience. This is what is good for business. Thank you. And I quote. Yeah, they're always doing crotch promotions. Last year, they had a lot of qualifying matches for the Mae Young Classic and also for the Cruiserweight Classic as well. They had a lot of qualifying matches in different promotions. And as of recently, I think there was an event of Evolve that allowed Apollo Crews to appear and wrestle at their show. So they're doing a lot of cross promotions. Why not? You know, it helps them. Maybe they could do it in exchange for video content, their library to use their content on the WWE. And also, it's always good to have a good working relationship. You could also, take some of their talent and whatnot. It's good. It's better than back in WCW days where they were trying to kill each other. There you go. Next, I'm trying to turn the page for these news. And there's a lot of news still by Kyle Masters. So let me just read it real fast and see if I can summarize this. So the title says 2 NXT superstars getting fast-tracked by WWE. So I did read this somewhere else, so I think I can summarize it. So guys, this is by Dave Meltzer. So guys, take it with a grain of salt from Rumor Mania. Meltzer, and I'll even tell you where the problem with this guy is. So Meltzer says that 2 superstars are being fast-tracked in NXT or WWE developmental is Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, who is part of the Four Horsewomen of the MMA. Both are members of, what I just told you, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler's group. And they have been appearing a lot at live house shows. And they've been winning, by the way. And they've been winning over credible talent. Like, there was one results I read where they beat Kairi Sane and Io Shirai. So, dude, those are big-name talents. And these noobs, I hate to use the word noobs, who actually, I don't believe they've had any previous experience in professional wrestling other than their mixed martial arts training. And they're winning big matches. So are they fast tracking this to get that whole Four Horsewomen of WWE versus Four Horsemen of MMA off the ground? We never know. Let's see here. And this is the part where I talk about how Dave Meltzer is always rumor mania. He says, and I quote, "I think it's for a WWE match, but only against the women Four Horsewomen. How could you? Because it makes no sense for Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch to be teaming now at all. It makes no sense. I mean, could you have Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, and a fourth babyface go against them? No, Dave Meltzer, that wouldn't make any sense. The big money in the marketing is against the Four Horsewomen of WWE. You take out Charlotte or Becky, it's no longer considered the Four Horsemen of WWE. Okay, Dave Meltzer says, and the point I want to point across is he says, I think it's for a WWE match. So Dave Meltzer, if this turns out to be wrong, this guy's always putting in those words like, oh, I hear backstage rumors, or I hear talks. That's why this guy can never be wrong. That's why he's rumor mania. But Dave Meltzer says it wouldn't make any sense. But if you guys remember a couple of months ago on the main roster, Bayley and Sasha Banks were involved in what I thought would have been the it feud of the year. I mean, you have Bayley beating up Sasha Banks and saying, you ain't shit, which is probably the best moment of Bayley's career, other than winning the WWE Women's Championship. And then they totally dropped that storyline. They were feuding with each other. And then they blew off an entire year's feud, built-up storyline, and then they just became BFFs again. I don't know whether it's to promote what I hear is a rumored upcoming WWE Women's Tag Team division, because a whole bunch of the women are in tag team matches, but if they could just say, oh, this stupid feud is going to end like that, why can't they just end Charlotte and Becky Lynch? You know, here's the thing. And it happens at Survivor Series a lot where the baby faces team up with the heels, okay? They don't have to get along with each other to participate in this Four Horsewomen match. So Dave Meltzer, you stupid idiot, they can still have this match. They don't have to get along with each other, but they can come together for the greater good. Okay, if they're going to get attacked by these Four Horsemen of the mixed martial arts, they may not get along with each other, but they will have to take on this greater threat. So there you go, Dave Meltzer. You don't understand how it doesn't make sense, but here at No Holds Barred Network, come at us, bro. And by the way, Dave Meltzer is actually from the Bay Area. He actually went to a college that my brother went to. So I don't know, calling out some guy who's actually from my hometown. Whatever. We could use the publicity. So Dave Meltzer, you want to come at us, bro? Come at us. But you're wrong. There you go. Moving on. Let's see here. We got Brandy Lynn in the chat room. So hello, Brandy. And what else here? Cupid Girl 125 says Charlotte versus Becky better than Bayley versus Sasha. Yep, I gotta give it to them. And I hate to get off track here. Credit where credit's due. Main roster, still not good, but SmackDown Live has gotten incredibly better. I actually watched SmackDown Live this week, and that ending segment with Charlotte versus Becky was very good. It was very good. Becky's really establishing herself as a heel. She's doing very good mic work with it. And like I say, the fans cheer it because they do a good job. I love the part. Everything she said was gold. She says, you don't have to raise my hand, but you can't put this title around my waist. And then she says, you can call me queen, bitch. So it was great. It was great. And then Becky Lynch proceeded to beat the shit out of her. So it was great. But then Charlotte was fine 5 minutes later during the mixed match challenge. So logic, out the window. So anyway, and our last bit of news comes from Kyle. I'll try to summarize it. EC3 yet to be cleared for in-ring competition. So you guys saw at the very last takeover, EC3 took on Velveteen Dream. Now I can't confirm it, but I think I know when it happened. There is a part in the match where Velveteen Dream gave EC3 a very stiff super kick to the face. It is what busted him open, and they very, very quickly ended the match after that super kick. So Guys, it's a tough match. That's why you should not do it you should not do it at home. And for those of you who said the wrestling is fake, dude, these guys do get injured. So EC3 did suffer a concussion. He is not cleared to wrestle, which is why they wrote him off television, having Lars Sullivan attack him. And they say, according to Mike Johnson on a recent PW Insider Elite, he's saying that EC3 is still on the injured list and at the WWE Performance Center, and he had this to say. EC3, and I quote, EC3 as of today has not been cleared to return to action, so it just shows how badly he's banged up. It's been 3 to 4 weeks now since the TakeOver show, so he's still hurting. And guys, as of, WWE has been getting a lot of flack for these concussion lawsuits, so you definitely do not want to rush EC3 back in the ring. And he's an incredible talent. You don't want to rush him back into the ring and have him get injured again. And concussion, guys, it's real serious business. It really is. You've seen NFL players all the time suffering after they retire, and it's not good. Not good at all. And wrestling, it's a very tough sport as well. Let's see here. Cuban Girl 125, call me queen, bitch. It's great, and I can't believe they got away with that line. I mean, they don't say anything like that on Raw. No, all they do is go to marriage counseling and hug each other. Ugh, get out of here. Anyway, that's it from Kyle's side of the total news. So we are going to get into my side of the news that I was able to find. I think I only found 2 bit of news because Kyle's ran a lot. And let me go ahead and find it. Here we go. So I only got 2 bit of news, guys. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get into my bit of total news. So NXT Couples alert. We got all females in the live chat room. If you guys like relationship news, you guys might like this one. So hey, say hello to NXT's newest real-life it couple. So via Instagram, NXT wrestler, the glorious one, the limitless Keith Lee is dating none other than Mia Yim from the Mae Young Classic. Good for them. So they appear to be in a relationship with Instagram posts showing the two getting very close and cozy at Disney World on both people's Instagram accounts. Keith Lee was signed by the WWE towards the beginning of the year, while Mia Yim has appeared in both years' Mae Young Classic, but has yet to be given an official contract from the company. So good for them. I like Keith Lee. I like Mia Yim, and hopefully they do offer a contract. And I think they will. I heard that she's been performing at the Performance Center a lot. Shayna Baszler, she was not offered a contract by WWE until a couple of months after the Mae Young Classic, and I would have offered her a contract based on her performance in the Mae Young Classic alone. But Mia Yim, incredible talent. We could use some more Asian wrestlers in the WWE that doesn't give the Asian stereotype and whatnot, okay? We don't need another one of the no speak English. So Mia Yim, incredible talent. Good for her, good for Keith Lee, and yeah, let's see where this goes. Cuba Girl 125. So to be honest, she says, I literally thought Mia Yim was dating Shelton for some reason. Yeah, so Mia Yim and Shelton Benjamin are always ragging each other on Twitter. It's because they've wrestled a lot at the same promotion, and they've actually wrestled each other. So I think it's like a brother and sister relationship, but I think that's as far as it goes. But they have wrestled each other, and they have wrestled on the same promotion before. Let's hear. And my last bit of news, guys, we're going to talk about, I mentioned it earlier, 2K gives NXT a chance. So here we go. So via 2K Games official Twitter account, if you were there during SmackDown Live, they released the new DLC content, every single downloadable superstar that's coming in, and man, oh man, was it a lot. And a lot of NXT superstars. And I have the full list right here. So they released the NXT roster that will be coming during the DLC. It includes none other than Mae Young Classic participant Dakota Kai, Team Kick, the North American Champion Ricochet, the First Lady of NXT, whatever that means, the former Marine Lacey Evans. He is the Man of the Hour, Leo Rush. It's rush hour time. The man, the myth, the legend, the top 1%, Ethan Carter III. EC3, Miss Candice Wrestling, Candice LeRae, and of course, War Raiders. War. As well on the main roster, Bobby Lashley and the power couple, Mike and Maria Kanellis will also be available as well. And funny story about that, those of you who follow me on Twitter at Michael Chow TV, While they were doing their DLC roster release during SmackDown Live, I actually tweeted 2K Games and I said, please include Mike and Maria Kanellis in the DLC. They're so underused and they have one of the best themes in the WWE. And I kid you not, I even posted this up. Both pictures. 5 minutes later, it was revealed that Mike and Maria Kanellis were in the DLC of 2K. So thank you. You guys can thank me for getting them into the game. I'm a cocky ego son of a bitch, but yeah, I'm responsible for getting Mike. Because us Mikes got to look out for each other. And Mike, he's such an underused talent. Why are they not using him? I know he was on Main Event this week against Zack Ryder. I don't know who won. If any of you in the live chat know, you guys watch Main Event and know who won, let me know. I hope it's Mike Kanellis. This guy could use a push. Last time this guy was on TV is when the whole roster of Monday Night Raw attacked the Shield. He was there for rando reasons, but there you go. And I do want to list that the DLC was released, but still mysteriously absent is none other than NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa and Nikki Cross. Now, I'm a little bit confused. We mentioned this on Total News last week, why they are not in the game. Because they were in last year's NXT 2K game, so I don't know why they can't just use the same models. I mean, if you had to just use the same models, if you had to use the same entrances, because 2K always recycles entrances that make no sense. It's just, I don't understand. It might be because maybe they could not come to terms with Tommaso Ciampa or Nikki Cross. 2K games, they do need to get a different type of rights when it comes to the wrestler. I do believe so. I can't 100% confirm it, but I do believe they need to get the rights. They have to get the okay from the wrestlers as well. Because I believe the wrestlers also get paid for being in the game as well, too. So maybe Tommaso Ciampa said no. I have no idea why Nikki Cross would not want to be in the game. So you'll just have to go on and try and create your own Nikki Cross and Tommaso Ciampa. So there you go. And I do believe that's it for Total News. So next, guys, we're going to get into our next brand new segment. Let me go ahead and pull up these notes. So we have a brand new segment on our show. I promoted it last week, and we're going to make our debut tonight. I really do wish Kyle was here, but next week I'll have Kyle briefly talk about this superstar. It is our brand new segment called NXT Call Up Spotlight. It's where we take a former NXT alumni who has gone up to the main roster. We will discuss their path from NXT going all the way up to the main roster, and we're going to talk about their booking, their accomplishments, any type of title opportunities they've been given, and then myself and Kyle Masters, who's not here, so it's just going to be me, we're going to give the status of whether this superstar gets the status of promotion or demotion. Promotion based off the fact that they have done relatively well since going on to the main roster, and the status of demotion if they should have just stayed in NXT, and they have done horribly since going up to the main roster. But since Kyle's not here, let's hope we can get everyone in the live chat to participate. So, Tiffany, Tila, Cubicgirl125, and Brandy, if you're still there, let me know as I'm reading you the whole history of Ty Dillinger from NXT to the main roster on whether you think this guy deserves a status of promotion or demotion. So without further ado, this week's NXT Call Up Spotlight was a fan request by Cubicgirl125, so thank you very much. He requested the Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger, and that's what we're going to do. So, a man who definitely deserves it, he's being reviewed first on the debut segment of NXT Call Up Spotlight, none other than the Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger. Alright guys, it is time to talk about Ty Dillinger's path from NXT up to the main roster. Now, Ty Dillinger is actually one of the rare superstars we're going to talk about because he's one of very few people, if you didn't know, who started his career off in the main roster. He did. I'm going to go over this real quickly because we mainly are going to only talk about starting from NXT. So anything that they did before that, I'm just gonna go over it really, really fast. So Ty Dillinger actually started off his career on the main roster on ECW, if you consider that the main roster. He was going by the name of Gavin Spears by then. He was not on there for very long. He is also another rare bonus fact you may not know, one of the very few people who has actually participated in every single developmental that WWE had to offer. So before NXT, it was known as FCW, which stood for Florida Championship Wrestling, and Ty Dillinger was in there. He was also in the developmental before FCW, which was known as OVW, and yeah, pretty much after his time on the main roster, he went back to FCW and he was soon released after that. But he would come back 4 years after when FCW had turned into NXT, and this is where our story will begin. Now, of course, it would take a very, very long time if I went over detail, so I'm just going to go over main points that the superstar went through, and once again, you be the judge on whether Ty Dillinger gets a promotion or demotion. So, and also, real fast, a bonus fact you may not know. If you ever on YouTube, go ahead and check it out. It's a funny segment. Depends on how you look at it. Another time Ty Dillinger was actually on the main roster is he played a security guard named Stan, who Shawn Michaels randomly super kicked out of nowhere. And Shawn Michaels went, oh, see, I kicked Stan. So go ahead and put Shawn Michaels, Ty Dillinger on YouTube, and you can see that segment. Oh, excuse me, guys. All right, let's go ahead and start. So, September 15th, 2013, Ty Dillinger re-signs with the WWE under the new ring name of Ty Dillinger. He goes from Gavin Spears to Ty Dillinger. Dillinger makes his NXT debut on TV against Mojo Rawley on November 11, 2013, in a losing effort. But a lot of times when these new talent, whether you've been there before or usually when you debut, unless you're a major talent like Keith Lee or I assume Matt Riddle or Bobby Roode or whatnot, you usually lose. You know, everyone in Undisputed, except for Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, they lost in their first match here and whatnot. So Dillinger, he obviously has to move up the ranks. In 2014, so obviously a year later, Ty Dillinger forms a tag team with none other than everyone's favorite wrestler, Jason Jordan Angle, Kurt Angle's favorite son. Until 2015, they were in that group until the team disbanded. Dillinger would be used primarily as an enhancement talent afterwards. So, not good news there. In mid-2015, so a year from now, Ty Dillinger adopts the Perfect 10 gimmick, bringing out those signs, going 10, 10, 10, and he would pick up wins on NXT TV tapings, but he was used primarily as an enhancement jobber for incoming talent during the TakeOver shows. And I actually have that talent written down. A bonus main fact that you guys may not know, but Ty Dillinger has never, ever won at a TakeOver. Ever. He has an unfortunate of having a huge losing streak in NXT at the TakeOver events. Never won at a TakeOver, ever. But here we go. So he's been picking up wins on TV, but as far as TakeOver, he would basically be used as a jobber for incoming talent, as he would lose to a debuting Apollo Crews at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. He would lose to a debuting Andrade Cien Almas at NXT TakeOver The End, and he would lose to a debuting Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Toronto. Next, Ty Dillinger's TakeOver losing streak extends into the year 2017 with a loss to Sanity's Eric Young at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. That would be the WrestleMania TakeOver. And he also would lose at NXT TakeOver Orlando. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. So NXT TakeOver San Antonio was the Royal Rumble TakeOver, which he lost to Eric Young. And he would lose again, sadly, at NXT TakeOver Orlando. That one is the WrestleMania one. And an 8-person tag team mixed match tag match. If I remember his tag team partners off the top of my head, I believe he teamed with, it was Roderick Strong, Kajizono, and Ruby Wright, I believe. They took on the entire teams of Sanity, and he lost. So, Ty Dillinger also made an appearance in that year's 2017 Royal Rumble, entering in at number 10, but was eliminated by Braun Strowman. Ty Dillinger's last appearance in NXT was a win against Eric Young during a house show in a steel steel cage match on April 5th, 2017. So that is where Ty Dillinger's path in NXT would end. So based off that, guys, it should put you in your mind. Listen, he's an incredible talent, and we'll talk more about this later when I get into the facts and we discuss things, but it didn't look like he didn't do too well in NXT. A lot of people say he should stay in NXT, and he probably should, but we'll talk about our reasonings. And once again, I'm going to get Kyle's opinion next week, because Ty Dillinger is from Kyle's hometown of Niagara Falls, and I know that he will definitely, and I already know what status he's going to pick, but I want his view, and I want him, if you're listening right now, Kyle, once again, take my opinions with a grain of salt, but take it in, man, and we'll see. We'll debate next week. But here's Ty Dillinger on the main roster. So, under the control of Vince McMahon, no longer Triple H, Ty Dillinger would make his main roster debut. He technically made it at the Royal Rumble, but he officially makes it for SmackDown Live April 4th, 2017, with a win over Face the Facts, Kurt Hawkins. Dillinger would then enter a month-long feud with everyone's favorite guy, Aiden English, the hashtag Happy Aiden Day, yikes, ending with his first main roster pay-per-view with a actual win. So even though Ty Dillinger lost at every single NXT takeover, he would win in his very first pay-per-view on the main event at Backlash, beating Aiden English. So it looks like things are going to pick up for him, but we'll see. In September 2017, Dillinger goes after the WWE United States title, entering a feud with the Constable Monday Night Raw, Baron Corbin, and of course, the house that AJ Styles built. It's the United States house he's building, AJ Styles. The feud would end at Hell in a Cell in a triple threat match in a losing effort, and Ty Dillinger was the guy who got pinned in this match to Baron Corbin, who picks up the brandly new United States Championship. Ty Dillinger would primarily be used as a jobber on TV. In 2018, at the Royal Rumble, Ty Dillinger enters again at number 10, but is attacked by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage and never officially enters this match. At the 2018 Fastlane pay-per-view, Dillinger scores a win in a tag team match with Breezango over Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, and Mojo Rawley in the pre-show, though. And then after that, Ty Dillinger he would compete in more losing efforts at WrestleMania in the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, being eliminated by Matt Hardy. And once again, at the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, entering in, you would think at number 10, right? But nope. That's WWE logic for you. This time in Saudi Arabia, he's entering in as number 42. But this time, he is once again eliminated by Braun Strowman. Now, we will always end this segment with this called the last update. I'm going to tell you what he's been up to. But in this last update case for Ty Dillinger, what he's been up to lately, on August 13, 2018, which is about a month ago, Ty Dillinger suffers an injury at a house show. Oh, no. Against Shelton Benjamin. And it was an injury that was nothing serious, but they are letting it, there is no surgery that needs to be done, but they're going to let it heal on its own. So Ty Dillinger has, due to the injury he suffered and the fact that there's no surgery required and they're going to let it heal on its own, Ty Dillinger has been used primarily recently in a non-wrestling backstage role with R-Truth on SmackDown Live. Included at the end of the segment, we'll also talk about all the accomplishments that this person has accomplished, title opportunities, and any titles that they've won. And sadly for here, I got nothing. In NXT, he was really not given a lot of title opportunities. I think he was involved. I don't think he ever went after the NXT championship. But it was really tough for NXT. Back then, they only had 3 titles, but 2 main titles. One was the NXT championship, and one was the women's championship, and of course the tag team championship. But there was no mid-title in between. And Ty Dillinger, he was really never given a title opportunity. He's never been a champion in NXT, not in the tag team division, nor in the main title division. Here in WWE, he was given that one title opportunity for the United States title. He answered AJ Styles, that was once again for the United States title too. So other than that, he was never really involved in the main WWE championship scene. And he's been primarily kept as a jobber as well. So this is, I can't wait until I get into a debate with Kyle, because, we got to talk about Ty Dillinger. It's tough. It's tough to give the status. But for me, Let's go ahead and give my status, guys. So here we go. So for me, giving the status of Ty Dillinger from NXT to the main roster, and which status I give for him, I give Ty Dillinger the status of... I give Ty Dillinger the status of, since moving up to the main roster, the status of promotion. Now, a lot of you are probably disagreeing right now, and including Kyle if you're listening to this. You're probably wondering, what the hell? Why would you think that Ty Dillinger's been doing better since going up to the main roster? Do you watch the main roster? Well, the answer is no, but still. I've been watching a lot of SmackDown Live, by the way. They've been doing a lot better, but the reasons for it is, and Kyle, if you're listening, and everyone else who think that he should have been giving the status a demotion is, you guys have to look at the big picture here. Once again, guys, remember, in NXT, he wasn't given a lot of main event opportunities. He wasn't given a lot of title matches. But when you bring it over to the main roster, it seems like he's been same on both shows. It's yes, he was a fan favorite back in NXT, but the reason why I gave him a promotion is you have to understand the main event is the big picture here. It's it is the A show. Even though I consider NXT the A show, it's called the main event for a reason. NXT has always been kind of considered as the developmental and the minor leagues, but this is the main picture. You get more exposure. I assume Ty Dillinger is now making the main event money. He'll get more opportunities now that he's NXT. He could possibly go out to the United States Championship, tag team division. I hope he gets a chance at the WWE Championship. There's also other things. The Royal Rumble, which he has participated 3 times, if you count the greatest Royal Rumble, and it just seems like he's on the show for a greater audience. Now, I will always cheer for Ty Dillinger. All right, I will. Even though, ironically, this guy blocked me on Twitter, which I don't know why. I think it's because I probably talked crap about... I think I know why he did it. Because I remember one week I was talking smack about the SmackDown Top 10, which mysteriously disappeared. And I talked about Ty Dillinger. He might have taken that as an insult, which is why he blocked me. But other than that, Ty, still a fan, and I just think that being on the bigger show of the main event is the reason why I'm giving him the status of promotion. Now, we're going to get Kyle's opinion next week, but I already know what he's going to say. But Cuban Girl 125, she agrees with me, as well as Datila, that they agree that Ty Dillinger is given the status of promotion while going up to the main event. Now, there's going to be superstars where they have been doing absolutely horrible. People have been doing absolutely great in NXT, and it's a totally one-sided thing since they've gone on to the main event. And I can go ahead at this time. Guys, let me know what you think about this segment. Did you like it? Should we keep it? Should we not do it anymore? And let me know. We're going to go randomly select superstars for every single week for NXT Call-Up Spotlight, unless we get a special fan request. Now, next week has already been chosen, but next week, guys, try and pick someone, and we will do it. Pick your favorite ones, guys. I mean it. From anywhere, as long as they started off in NXT and went on to the main roster. Anyone from Fandango, Tyler Breeze, but they had to have started out in NXT. Everything before that, if they went from FCW or if they went from OVW straight up to the main roster, it doesn't count. They had to have gone from NXT up to the main roster. So Cuban Girl 125 says she likes the segment. Thank you very much. And Cuban Girl 125, thank you for suggesting Ty Dillinger on our first week. So next week, guys, we will get back to it. We will briefly talk about Kyle's opinion on Ty Dillinger, whether he gets a promotion or demotion. But next week's NXT Call-Up Spotlight will be none other than by fan request, by co-host on another show, Mr. Craig Messy, who handles our Lowdown show, the UK. Guys, go ahead and check it out. It is every single week, but because Craig does it from the UK, it is a show about the UK division of WWE whenever they premiere. Craig Messy also talks about all of the UK indie scenes. He's also going to get interviews from the UK talent. This week, I got a chance to actually listen to his show. His very first episode, I only got to listen to a little bit, but this week's episode, he was on there with a indie wrestler named Simon. I didn't catch his last name, but it was a really good show. and I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. Craig, you're doing a great job. But he actually suggested, so by popular fan request, Craig Messi asked to review in former NXT superstar Luke Harper. So we're going to be talking about Luke Harper next week. His path from NXT up to the main roster. Is he doing better? Or whether he deserves a status of promotion or demotion. Guys, let us know. So guys, that will go ahead and do it for NXT Call Up Spotlight in its debut segment here. Next, we're going to go ahead and get into our last segment here, guys. It is fan tweets, but let me see if we have any fan tweets for this week. If you're a first-time listener and want to know how you can get your tweets read out live on the show and we read everyone's fan tweets, all you have to do is either tweet at us, but you have to use the hashtag. If you guys don't use the hashtag, unfortunately, guys, it will get skipped. But use the hashtag AskTheNXT. That's AskTheNXT. Use that hashtag, post your questions. And I want it to kind of be just related to NXT, but if you want to ask a question about the main roster, go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and talk about it, but we primarily want to keep it to NXT because this is an NXT review show. So let me go ahead and type that in, hashtag AskTheNXT. See if we get anything there. I spelled it wrong. The NXT. And do we have any? Nope, I don't think we do. But I remember seeing a question. I think they just forgot out the hashtag. So let me look for it real fast. Sorry, guys, it's a live show. Where is it? I know someone posted a question. And I think it was from Craig Messi. He had posted something about a question I posted on his show. And do I see it? I do not see it. I'm not seeing it on my live feed. Sorry, Craig. It is... Yeah. Sorry, Craig. I will answer it next week, I promise. So just go ahead and use the hashtag AskTheNXT and just repeat your question. I promise I will answer it next week on the show. Do you have any questions in the live chat? Hold on here. Datila says she also likes this new segment. Thank you, girls. And Datila says she picks Bray Zongo. So we will try. So we're going to have to do them separately. But yeah, Datila, we will get in. So after next week's episode of Luke Harper by fan request by Craig Messi, the week after that, Datila, pick one. We're either going to do Tyler Breeze or we're going to do Fandango. And yeah. And CubaGirl125, Low Down Shows, UK's #1 fan. Yes, she was on last week's episode. I was there in the chat room with her. And yeah, CubaGirl125 says she thinks Craig had a question too. I remember reading it too, so I think, I might be wrong, but I think Craig Messi asked, because on his show, they were talking about the UK division, and I had to ask the question, with Survivor Series coming up and how they always do Raw vs. SmackDown Live, do you see them doing a NXT version of that, doing the NXT UK versus NXT US for Survivor Series weekend for NXT TakeOver? And he named his team on who he would pick on Team NXT UK, and I think he picked his team of NXT US. I think he asked me who I would pick, so I'll probably go with that. Tila picks Tyler Breeze. So after we do Luke Harper, the week after that, we will do Tyler Breeze. Man, Tyler Breeze, he was great. Loved his gimmick. They really botched that one, but on the main roster. So Craig Messi asked, who would my Survivor Series teams be? So Craig, if you're listening right now, I don't watch a lot of the UK talent. I don't. So honestly, I can't pick a team for the UK because I don't know a lot of the talent over there off the top of my head. Maybe if Neville returns, put Neville on team NXT UK, but that means he would have to move from the main roster back down to NXT. I could pick you who should be on NXT, the US team. So I believe that they should have... We need a big guy, so I'm going to go with Lars Sullivan. So Lars Sullivan, he's in there. Either Lars Sullivan or Keith Lee, but I think they're going to go with Lars Sullivan here. So Lars Sullivan, I need 4 more picks. So let's go with, Tommaso Ciampa or Johnny Gargano. I can't have both. Tommaso Ciampa, since it is always usually champion versus champion, I assume Tommaso Ciampa will be the champion who takes on NXT UK champion. So with that alone, I'll go with Johnny Gargano. So I have Lars Sullivan, Johnny Gargano, who else? Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream, and I will need a fifth. Oh man, it's so hard. I gotta choose between EC3 or Adam Cole. EC3, I love you, but I'm sorry, I can't. It's just incredible talent. Or Ricochet, shoot. Oh man, but he is the North American champion. It is champion versus champion. I'm gonna go with Adam Cole, baby. So sorry, EC3, you're gonna have to go team up on some other match, but there you go. Cuban Girl 1, 2. At least I put Velveteen Dream in there, Cuban Girl. So there you go. So that's my team. Craig, I want you to create 5 people on your team, and we'll pit it up against my team. Sound good? There you go. So Craig, pick 5 people, and I think you picked 5 people on your show for this week. I think you put Noam Dar on there. Is that true? So, so that's my 5. Lars Sullivan. Who else there? Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, and who's the 5th? Oh my gosh, I'm missing it. Aleister Black. So there you go. Who's the captain? I don't know. Any one of them can be captain. Let's go with Velveteen Dream. He would be a good captain. So there you go. So I hope that was the question, Craig, and I hope I did answer it well. I forgot to play the fan tweets theme music. Oh well. Well, I'll avoid copyrights. But other than that, guys, that's the end of the show. So, guys, thank you so much. I'll get some special thanks out there. So, thank you for all of the fans who tuned in. So, Cupid Girl 125, thank you so much for submitting your fan request for the NXT Call of Spotlight. Datila, thank you so much. And for your NXT Call of Spotlight suggestion, we will do Tyler Breeze after next week's Luke Harper. Thank you to Datila. Thank you for Brandy, but I don't think she's no longer in the live chat. And thank you for Tiffany and Kyle, my co-hosts, who did tune in for a bit. So, guys, thank you so much. Without the fans, this podcast will be nothing. You know, I talk about how I would love to quit my job and do this full time and get paid to do so. But I can honestly tell you, you know, there are a lot of people, and I'm not trying to take any type of jabs at any of the YouTubers out there. But you see them all the time, YouTubers who are like trying to find all these ways to get you to subscribe to them because they're trying to make some revenue. I'm not like that. And I can honestly tell you that if I never make another penny doing this podcast or never make a penny doing my upcoming YouTube channel, I don't mind because I love doing this. I love pop culture. I love WWE, even though I talk smack about the main roster. I still love it, love NXT, and I just love to talk about it. I would talk about it with anyone for all night long if I could. So I just love it that much. I've been watching WWE, guys, for honestly, I won't tell you my age, but I've been watching to close to about 25 years of WWE programming. So I've been there during the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era. I did not watch during the during the whole Hulk Hogan days and whatnot, you know, before my time. But other than that, guys, I thank the great fans. So, guys, without you, this show is nothing. I want to go ahead and once again thank our sponsors. So, thank you guys to ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. Guys, go ahead and check it out. Once again, use the promo code NOHOLDS to get 10% off. They got Halloween costume, guys. I joke about it, but they probably got some good ones. Go and check it out. So, guys, go ahead and check out ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. Thank you to our public sponsor. And once again, this is just myself. I want to give a big shout out to No Holds Bar Network because I used to have my own podcast. I ended up ending it because my podcast was a solo podcast. It took up a lot of my time, guys, and I'm a very busy guy. I have a full-time job, and I reviewed the main roster, Raw, SmackDown, every single week. That's 5 hours of my life, and the content was not good. I did not like what was going on in the main roster, and I thought to myself, why review something I don't like? So I ended up switching to just reviewing the pay-per-views, but then that got bad, so I just decided to end my show. And that's when Kyle from No Holds Barred Network actually contacted me, and they were extremely helpful in getting my podcast off the ground. He talked to me about how he knew I had ended my podcast, and he asked me if I wanted to come on as a new co-host. And it was actually great, the greatest opportunity, because if you guys have ever done a solo podcast or YouTube before, it's a lot of work, guys. You got to watch it yourself. You got to create the notes. You got to put in the work. You got to make the time. And with my collaboration with No Holds Barred coming on as a new co-host, I get to cut the work on half. Even though I have to admit, Kyle does most of the work. He does all the notes. I'm just there to talk about NXT. But I do try to contribute. I've contributed to the new segments of the NXT Call-Up Spotlight. And I try to take care of Total News as well. So it's a partnership. And I'm glad to be a part of it. So big shout out and thank you to No Holds Barred Network. And thank you so much. So other than that, guys, go ahead and check out our other weekly show, guys. We have other content on the NHP network, and we don't charge. It is free 99 minus the 99, so it's absolutely free. More content. We are expanding the No Holds Barred worldwide, but yeah, we're expanding it to have more content, more shows. We have the Lowdown Show, which covers the main event, Raw and SmackDown Live, and the main roster pay-per-views, coverage and discussions hosted by Corporate Cappy, the old co-host on No Holds Barred Network, Tyler Jones and Brian. They air every single Thursday, and as far as I know, their show is still scheduled on for tomorrow. So guys, make sure you tune in. I will be tuning in tomorrow in the live chat. So guys, get ready. We got a lot to talk about if you're listening right now. SmackDown was definitely the better show this week. Raw still concentrates on one guy. Oh, one guy and one female as well. They're kind of shifting gears here. We all know who the Roman and the female Roman is of Monday Night Raw. That's for sure. We got the Lowdown UK show covering the upcoming NXT UK division, which I asked Craig, I think they said that they're going to be debuting in October. The UK Indies as well. It's hosted by Craig Messy, and he has a lot of co-hosts. I think his first episode was his sister, and the second co-host on the second episode was a indie wrestler named Simon. Did not get his last name, but he was actually very good. He was very knowledgeable, so hopefully we can get Simon back on the show. And he's going to be doing a lot of interviews with the UK talent as well, because Craig Messy, he actually attends a lot of the shows. And we actually have something big planned with Craig Messy. I've already talked with him. We will be covering the Mae Young Classic 2018. We are going to wait until the first round is over. In fact, there was a brand new episode tonight, which I will probably watch as soon as I get off the air. And we're going to wait until the first round is over. And I'm sad to say I went an entire month without spoilers. I made it a point to try and stay off my Twitter and stay away from anything WWE related, to not know who was in the finals, but just through some stupid chance, I ended up finding out who was in the finals. Now, other than the people who are in the finals, I don't know who wins the other matches, but I do know who's in the finals because I was stupid enough. I looked up the WWE All-Women Pay-Per-View Evolution, which I totally forgot will host the finals of the Mae Young Classic, and it was on the card, and I unfortunately found out who was going to be in the finals. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but man, they are big name talent. They deserve to be in the finals, and it should be a great match. So at least I don't know who's going to win the other matches, but I do know who's going to be in the finals. So back to what I was talking about. We are going to review in the Mae Young Classic, but we're going to do it by rounds. So as soon as the first round is over, me and Kyle Masters, and we've asked Craig Messy from the UK show to also join in as well. But because Craig is from the UK, we're going to have to find a time zone time to actually do it. We might actually just record it offline if we have to. But other than that, we will be reviewing in the Mae Young Classic, featuring myself, Kyle Masters, and Craig Messy from the UK division of No Holds Barred Network. So other than that, there's also this show. Gets reviewed in every single Wednesday after NXT. It is covering NXT and the TakeOver pay-per-views. We also have coverage, live discussions, and we talk about other stuff, including Total News. We got our other great individual segments, which are different from the other shows, including the NXT Call-Up Spotlight, which you guys seem to enjoy, so we will continue. It's every single Wednesday, hosted by Kyle Masters and myself, Hollywood Michael Chow. And guys, that will go ahead and do it for the show. So guys, thank you so much for joining in. That will go ahead and do it for our show. So guys, thank you so much. I do not have the outro notes for this, so I'm going to have to wing it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Lowdown Show, The Next, where we cover in NXT TakeOver, pay-per-view, coverage, discussions, news, anything related to NXT. It is hosted by yours truly, Hollywood Michael Chow. Not this week, but the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters. And we're reminding you to always keep it on the lowdown. Guys, see you later, and see you at next week next spelled NXT, next week's show. See ya. Peace.